My phone nearly slips from my hand as I stare at the banking app, blinking hard to make sure I'm seeing the numbers correctly. There's a $3,200 hole in my account that wasn't there yesterday. What the? I swipe to the transaction history, heart hammering against my ribs. The withdrawal appears in bold black letters. Blake family emergency. My stomach lurches. I never made that transfer. I scroll further, checking and rechecking, fingers trembling across the screen. The transaction went through at 9:43 last night, while I was sound asleep in my apartment, oblivious that thousands of my hard-earned dollars were vanishing. My phone buzzes. Mom's name flashes on the screen. Serenity, honey. Mom's voice bubbles through the speaker, bright and cheerful. Have you heard from Isla? Wait till you see what she's done with her apartment. Absolute transformation. I press my palm against my forehead, pushing back the headache forming behind my eyes. No, I haven't talked to her. What kind of transformation? Oh, she finally got that gorgeous sectional she's been eyeing. Italian leather, if you can believe it. And the most beautiful entertainment center. Real wood, not that pressed board garbage. Makes the whole place look like something from those home magazines. My throat tightens. The room tilts slightly. How nice. Must have cost a fortune. Well, you know your sister. She has such exquisite taste. Mom laughs lightly. Anyway, we're all going over there for dinner Friday. Dad's picking up steaks. Mom, I say, my voice oddly calm, despite the volcano building inside me. Did Isla just happen to spend exactly $3,200 on furniture? A pause. Just long enough. Well, I wouldn't know the exact. My phone beeps with another call. Dad. Mom, I have to go. Dad's calling. I switch calls without waiting for her response. There's my responsible girl. Dad booms into the phone. Just checking in about that little transfer. Meant to call you last night but got caught up watching the Mariners game. The casual way he says it like he's asking about borrowed lawn tools sends a wave of heat up my neck. You took money from my account? The words come out sharp, each one a small knife. Now. Took isn't the right word. Your sister needed some help, and we know you're always good for it. His voice drops to that reasonable tone he uses when explaining why things have to be a certain way. We gave her your account information a while back, just for emergencies. A leather couch is an emergency? Serenity. Come on, we're family. What's yours is ours. You've always understood that. He sighs, like I'm being the difficult one. Your sister needed to make her place presentable. She has colleagues coming over. I close my eyes, fighting the dizziness. Dad, you can't just... Listen, I've got a meeting. We'll talk Friday at Isla's. The place looks fantastic, by the way. You'll be proud of what your contribution accomplished. The line goes dead. I stare at the phone, stunned into silence. My contribution, as if I'd volunteered. My text alert chimes. Isla. A photo appears of a sleek gray sectional and an ornate entertainment unit in rich mahogany. The furniture dwarfs her small living room. The text beneath reads, Thanks, sis. You're always so good with money. Dinner Friday at 7. Bring wine. I sink onto the edge of my bed, memories washing over me like a cold tide. I was 14 when Dad lost his job at the paper mill. The ancient family Buick needed transmission work. Mom sat at our kitchen table, calculator in hand, bills spread in front of her like playing cards in a losing game. We'll have to cancel your band trip, she'd said, not looking up. We need that money for the car. I'd gone to my room, pulled out the coffee can where I'd been saving for college since I was 10, and counted out the bills. $623. My entire future, saved in small increments from birthdays, Christmas, and odd jobs. I'd placed it all on the table in front of Mom. This should cover it. I don't need to go to college right away. Mom had cupped my face in her hands, tears in her eyes. You're the responsible one, Serenity. The steady one. Not like Isla, she's all heart but no sense. This family would fall apart without you. That was the first time, but not the last. My first paycheck from the grocery store at 16, gone to cover Isla's cheerleading uniform. My scholarship celebration dinner canceled because Dad needed new tires. Year after year, emergency after emergency, always with the same refrain. We're family. We need you. You're our rock. And every time, the warm glow of their approval, their gratitude, their love conditional as it was kept me coming back for more. My hands tremble as I navigate to my bank's website. I change my password, security questions, contact information. I set up alerts for any transaction over $20. Then I call the bank's fraud department. I need to report unauthorized access to my account, I say, surprised by the steadiness in my voice despite the tears tracking down my cheeks. After 20 minutes of verification and explanations, the representative assures me they'll flag the account. We can't guarantee recovery of the funds since the withdrawal appears to have been made with your account credentials, but we've noted the dispute. I hang up and open the family group chat. My account is not a family ATM. This stops now. I hit send and set the phone down. It rings within seconds. Dad's number. I answer, steeling myself. What the hell is this message supposed to mean? He demands, skipping any greeting. After all we've done for you, this is the thanks we get? Something inside me cracks. Not in the breaking way, but in the way ice does when spring finally arrives, a shift, a change, a reordering. I press the end call button mid-lecture. For the first time in my life, I hang up on my father. My phone immediately starts ringing again. I turn it off completely. The silence that follows feels like the first clean breath after a lifetime underwater. That same day, later, the bank statements spread across my kitchen table like evidence from a crime scene. 5 years of transactions, printed in neat rows of betrayal. My highlighter squeaks against the paper as I mark another one. $420, Blake Family Travel Fund. I never authorized that. 3 hours ago, I'd walked into the bank still shaking from hanging up on Dad. The teller's concerned glance when I'd requested 5 years of complete statements told me my face betrayed more than I intended. That'll be $32 for the printouts, Miss Blake, he'd said. My laugh had sounded hollow even to my own ears. Small price to pay to see where my money's been going. Now, as midnight approaches, the yellow highlighted sums form a staggering pattern. $300 here. $250 there. Small enough to fly under my radar, but large enough to leave $33,480 missing from my future. I press my palms against my eyes until stars burst behind my eyelids. A notification dings on my laptop, the credit monitoring service I signed up for this afternoon. My stomach clenches as I click the alert. Recent inquiry from National Mortgage Corporation. I've never applied for a mortgage. My email inbox holds the confirmation loan application submitted yesterday in my name, my social security number. The monthly payment address matches my parents' house. My phone buzzes with a text from Mom. Just checking in, sweetie. Dad's cooling down. We know you're stressed about money, we all are. But family helps family. You'll understand when you're older. Sleep tight. I drop the phone like it's burned me. The casual dismissal in those words as if I'm a tantruming child who'll come around to their way of thinking. Another bank statement catches my eye. A recurring monthly payment, $746.50 to NMC Home Loans directly from my account. The room spins slightly. They've been making their house payment with my money. My father's voice from 3 years ago echoes in my head. Just a temporary arrangement until things stabilize. Serenity. 6 months. Tops. That temporary arrangement never ended. I pull my laptop closer and create a new spreadsheet. Column headings appear as I type. Date, amount, description, for whom. The data transfers from highlighted statements to digital cells. Each entry another brick in the wall between who I was yesterday and who I am becoming tonight. The final tally glows on the screen. $33,480. This isn't help anymore. I whisper to the empty apartment. It's maintenance. A maintenance system with 3 key players. Dad, the architect. The mastermind who built the system of small, steady drains disguised as family emergencies. His financial misconduct hidden behind the veneer of fatherly wisdom. Isla, the beneficiary. Designer clothes, spring break trips, that ridiculous couch. My sister floats through life on the cushion of my sacrifices, without ever acknowledging their source. Mom, the enabler. Her specialties, guilt, emotional manipulation, and the ability to frame exploitation as an expression of love. I open a new browser tab and search for local banks. By dawn, I've opened an account at First Republic under a new email address my family doesn't know. The Serenity's Future Fund accepts its first deposit, $200 I'd been saving for Dad's birthday fishing trip. At 9:30 a.m., Marcus from accounting stops at my desk at work, coffee in hand. His eyes drift to the bank statements partially visible in my bag. Family financial drama? He asks, voice low. I stiffen. Is it that obvious? Only recognized it because I lived it. He places a sticky note on my desk with a phone number. Financial advisor who helped me when my brother was draining my accounts. She specializes in family situations. By lunch, I've made an appointment. By 3 o'clock, Rachel has offered her guest room, if things get nuclear with your folks. By evening, I sit across from Dr. Winters, fidgeting with a tissue as she reviews the documents I've brought. What you're describing is financial abuse, Serenity, she says. Her voice holds no judgment, just clarity. It's remarkably common in families, particularly with the member perceived as most stable. But they're my parents, I say, voice cracking, and Isla's my little sister. Boundaries aren't cruelty, Dr. Winters replies. They're clarity. You can love your family without funding their lifestyle at the expense of your future. That night, I make 3 phone calls and send 2 emails. I remove myself as an authorized user on the family credit cards. I block all electronic access to my accounts. I report the fraudulent loan application. The glow of accomplishment lasts until my head hits the pillow. Then the doubts creep in. What kind of daughter cuts off her parents? What if they can't make their house payment? What if Isla blames me when she can't maintain her lifestyle? Sleep refuses to come as decades of conditioning wage war against this fragile new boundary. Every creak of my apartment sends my heart racing as if my father might appear to demand an explanation. Every distant siren sounds like my mother's disappointed sigh. I stare at the ceiling, counting the hours until dawn, fighting the urge to undo everything, to return to the safety of compliance, to be the good daughter again. The only thing stronger than the guilt is the memory of that spreadsheet. $33,480. My future, siphoned away one emergency at a time. Another dawn breaks, and I haven't slept. But for the first time in my adult life, I've said no to the people who raised me to always say yes. 2 days later, my phone chimes with the 3rd text this morning from Aunt Marjorie. Honey, your parents have sacrificed everything for you. How can you be so selfish when they're struggling? I set the phone face down on my kitchen counter, watching steam curl from my coffee mug. The onslaught began with Dad's carefully crafted email to the extended family, a masterpiece of selective truth. In his version, I'm the ungrateful daughter hoarding wealth while my poor parents face financial ruin after a lifetime of generosity. The story spread through the Blake family network with the efficiency of a 1,950 seconds telephone tree. Damn it. I scrub my hand across my face when the phone rings. Aunt Marjorie, again. I silence it, but the voicemail notification appears seconds later. Serenity, it's your Aunt Marjorie. The Bible says to honor thy father and mother. Your uncle and I are very concerned about your behavior. Call me back immediately. Before I can process this latest guilt grenade, an email notification slides onto my screen from Pastor Williams. We will see you at service Sunday. I understand your family is going through a difficult time. Remember, forgiveness is a cornerstone of faith. My stomach knots. Dad has involved the church now. I open Instagram to clear my head and immediately regret it. Isla's latest post shows her sprawled dramatically across her new leather sectional. Some people value money over family loyalty. Blood should mean more than dollars. 23 sympathetic comments follow, including 3 from my cousins. The final blow arrives at work that day. My boss, Sandra, calls me into her office, her expression carefully neutral. I received an anonymous email expressing concern about your financial stability. She slides a printed email across her desk. I want to assure you this won't affect your position here, but I thought you should know. I scan the message, recognizing my father's formal writing style instantly, though the email address is unfamiliar. The knot in my stomach transforms into a hard ball of rage. Thank you for telling me, I manage to say. I'm handling some family boundary issues. My finances are completely stable. Back at my desk, I pull out the leather notebook I purchased yesterday. The first act of self-care I've allowed myself in years. Inside, I've created a detailed documentation system, dates, amounts, transaction numbers, all organized chronologically. 5 years of financial drainage transformed into irrefutable evidence. I open my banking app, navigating to the new savings account I established at a different bank entirely. The automatic transfer has gone through $400, the exact amount I used to send to my parents monthly. For once, the money stays mine. My phone pings with a reminder for my therapy appointment. Dr. Keating specializes in family boundary issues. After just 2 sessions, the weight on my shoulders has lightened fractionally. Yesterday, she suggested I create a family contact protocol, specific times and methods. I'll accept communication on my terms. Control the battlefield, she'd said. Right now, they're attacking from all sides whenever they want. Change the rules of engagement. The reminder of her words steadies me as I drive to work. I'm not cruel. I'm not selfish. I'm claiming what was always rightfully mine. My support group meets Wednesday evenings in a community center basement. 6 of us sit in a circle, sharing stories of financial exploitation by family. Marcus from accounting introduced me to the group after overhearing my frantic call to the bank last week. They'll escalate before they back down, warns Beverly, a silver-haired woman who escaped 30 years of supporting her gambling-addicted brother. The extinction burst is the worst part. Be ready for a big move. The big move comes Sunday morning. Dad's text arrives at 7:30 a.m. Family meeting. Our house, 2 p.m. Non-negotiable. I call Rachel immediately. They're staging an intervention. I'll be your getaway driver, she says without hesitation. Text me if you need extraction. I'll park around the corner. The familiar drive to my parents' suburb feels different today. My hands don't tremble on the steering wheel. The spreadsheets, bank statements, and transaction histories in my binder have transformed my hurt into clarity, my confusion into certainty. Mom opens the door before I knock, her smile brittle. Serenity, honey. We've missed you. The living room has been arranged for maximum impact. Dad sits at the head of the coffee table, calculator and bills spread before him like battle plans. Isla occupies the couch, eyes already glistening with practiced tears. Mom guides me to the lone chair positioned to face all 3 of them. We've worked out a solution to this. Misunderstanding? Dad begins, sliding a typed document toward me. A contribution plan that works for everyone. I scan the paper. $800 monthly, automatically transferred to their account, plus extra for seasonal expenses and family emergencies. This is reasonable, Dad continues. You've always been the responsible one. The family needs you to step up. Isla nods vigorously. We're counting on you, sir. For a moment, the familiar guilt rises. Then I remember Beverly's words from group. They counted on me for decades because I never counted what it cost me. I place my binder on the coffee table, open to the summary page with the total highlighted in yellow. $33,480. I've been keeping track, I say, my voice calmer than I feel. Every dollar, every emergency, every non-emergency, disguised as a crisis. Dad's face flushes. That's not relevant to. I'm your daughter, I continue, not your ATM. Isla's tears spill over right on cue. You're destroying this family over money. The accusation hangs in the air between us. 6 months ago, it would have shattered me. Today, the words bounce off my newly constructed boundaries. No, I reply, looking directly at her. You destroyed it by making love conditional. Mom gasps. Dad sputters. Isla launches into dramatic sobs. I stand, retrieving my binder but leaving the summary page on the table. My phone buzzes with a text from Rachel. Standing by if needed. Marcus has texted too. Remember what we practiced. You've got this. Dad rises, towering over the coffee table. If you walk out that door, you're saying money matters more than family. I pause at the threshold, thinking of Dr. Keating's advice about exit lines. Keep it simple. Don't get drawn into debate. I love you all, I say, but that doesn't mean you get to take everything I have. When you're ready to discuss actual repayment, or at least acknowledgement of what you've taken, call me. I walk out while they're still sputtering responses, closing the door firmly behind me. Instead of starting my car immediately, I turn off my phone completely. The silence wraps around me like a protective cloak. For the first time in 5 years, my Sunday afternoon belongs to me alone. No family crisis to manage, no emergency transfers to arrange, no emotional wreckage to clean up. I drive to the upscale grocery store I've always avoided as too expensive. Inside, I purchase a single container of imported Greek yogurt, $8 for something I've denied myself 100 times while sending thousands to my family. The first spoonful tastes like victory. Monday morning, I turn my phone back on to an avalanche of notifications. Texts, voicemails, emails, all variations on guilt and anger. But one stands out. An email from my father with the subject line, Family Emergency, read immediately. My finger hovers over the delete button. A calendar notification pops up, Family birthday dinner for Isla tonight. I stare at the 2 notifications, the emergency email, and the birthday reminder, the choice stark and clear. Maintain my boundary or fall back into the familiar pattern. Let's see how real this emergency really is, I whisper to the empty room, setting the phone aside without opening the email. For once, I'll attend to my own emergencies first. My phone remains silent all morning. By noon, it buzzes with a voicemail from Mom. Serenity, honey, did you get your father's email? Call us back, please. Her voice maintains that sugary sweetness, but underneath, a thread of tension pulls tight. I set my phone face down on my desk and focus on the quarterly budget spreadsheet. The numbers align perfectly, each cell balanced to the penny. If only family could be so orderly. 2 hours pass. Another voicemail. Serenity, it's Mom again. I don't know if you're getting our messages, but this is serious. Please call back immediately. The old guilt rises like bile, but I swallow it down. Rachel's words from our lunch yesterday echo in my mind. They're testing your boundaries. Stand firm. By 5 o'clock, Mom's third voicemail strips away all pretense. Serenity Blake, I don't know what game you're playing, but Isla's account is overdrawn, and she has that shopping trip with her work friends tomorrow. She can't back out now. What would people think? Call us immediately. I almost laugh. The emergency isn't a hospital visit or broken furnace, it's Isla's shopping spree. For the first time in my adult life, I drive home without calling them back. The next morning, my office phone rings at 9:17 a.m. Serenity, there's someone here to see you, says Janine from reception, her voice tight. Your parents? They say it's urgent. Ice slides down my spine. I'll be right there. I round the corner into the reception area and stop cold. Dad stands with his arms crossed, face flushed. Mom clutches her purse, eyes darting nervously around the modern office space. There she is. Dad booms, as though announcing me at a family reunion. Too busy to answer calls from your own parents? Janine shifts uncomfortably. 2 designers from the creative department pause by the water cooler, not even pretending not to listen. Dad, Mom, this isn't appropriate. I'm at work. And I'm your father. Dad steps closer, lowering his voice to what he probably thinks is private. Isla needs help. Family helps family. We can discuss this later. Not here. No, we'll discuss it now. His finger jabs the air between us. You've always been stubborn, but this is ridiculous. After everything we've done for you. Douglas, Mom whispers, tugging his sleeve. People are watching. Let them watch. Maybe they should see what kind of daughter refuses to help her own sister. Isla's crying at home right now. Marcus appears at my side, his presence solid and calm. Everything okay here, Serenity? Dad's eyes narrow. And who are you? A colleague, Marcus answers. One who thinks this conversation might be better continued elsewhere. This is family business, Dad snaps. And this is a place of business, I say, finding strength in the simple truth. I can't help you today. Can't or won't. Dad's voice rises again. You've changed, Serenity. All these years we raised you right, and suddenly, you're too good for your own family? The office has gone silent. Even the phones seem to hold their breath. Sir, Janine stands, phone in hand. I need to ask you to lower your voice or I'll have to call security. Security? For a father visiting his daughter? Dad laughs, but it's a hollow sound. What kind of place is this? Dad, please. No, you please. Act like family for once instead of some cold-hearted. That's enough. A firm voice cuts through. Linda from HR stands in the hallway, arms crossed. Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. I'm not going anywhere until my daughter. Yes, you are. Linda steps forward. Either voluntarily or with security's assistance. Your choice. For a moment, I think he'll back down. Then his jaw sets. Fine. But this isn't over, Serenity. Linda signals and 2 security guards appear as if summoned by magic. They don't touch Dad, just stand there, waiting. We raised you better than this, Mom hisses as they walk toward the exit. I hope you're proud of yourself. The doors close behind them. The silence rings in my ears until Marcus squeezes my shoulder. You okay? I nod, though nothing feels okay. That was your dad, huh? Linda asks quietly. The one you mentioned was pressuring you financially? Yes. Well, now I see what you're dealing with. She straightens her blazer. Take 15 if you need it. And Serenity? My door's open if you want to talk. Back at my desk, I open my laptop to find 15 notifications from Facebook. Isla has posted a family photo, Mom, Dad, And her at last Christmas, carefully cropped to remove me with a caption that makes my stomach clench. Family means standing by each other through thick and thin. True loyalty can't be measured in dollars. Blood is thicker. Family first. The comments flood with sympathy. Aunt Marjorie, you three are such an inspiration. Uncle Pete, family above all else. A dozen cousins and family friends offering support. My hands shake as I type my response. Interesting definition of loyalty. Here's mine. April 3rd, $487 for Isla's car payment. May 15th, $350 for Dad's business investment. June 8th, $900 for Mom's surprise anniversary trip. July 27th, $3,200 for Isla's emergency furniture. Total family loyalty this year, $11,837. Just facts, no judgment. Actual numbers. I hit post, then immediately close the browser, heart pounding. I've never publicly challenged the family narrative before. My phone buzzes with a text from Rachel. Just saw your comment. Perfect response. Facts only. How are you holding up? Before I can answer, a private message appears from cousin Jennifer. They did the same to my mother for years. Call me if you need to talk. Then another notification. Linda has shared my post with a simple, truth matters. Marcus comments with a thumbs up emoji. My boss, who I didn't even know was Facebook friends with me, likes my comment. My phone rings. Rachel, I drafted a longer response if you want to post it, she says instead of hello. Nothing inflammatory, just the facts laid out clearly. Thanks, but I think the numbers speak for themselves. They sure do. How's the fallout so far? Nuclear. Dad and Mom showed up at my office. Security had to escort them out. Jesus, Rachel whistles. That's next level. Linda from HR saw everything. She's been surprisingly supportive. Good. Document everything. Marcus texted me he's willing to back you up in the family group chat if you want a male voice to shut your dad down. I laugh, the sound startling in its genuineness. When did I build such an army? When you started standing up for yourself. Rachel's voice softens. My mom wants you to know you're welcome at Sunday dinner this week. No strings attached. A text from my therapist appears. Just checking in. We can move our session up if needed. Remember the language we practiced for setting boundaries without escalating. Another notification. An email from my financial advisor. Quarterly update. Your emergency fund is up 17% since restricting unauthorized access. Congratulations. Then my boss appears at my desk. Hey, Linda filled me in. Take the rest of the week if you need it. Family stuff is brutal. The support buoys me through the afternoon. A life raft in the storm of family chaos. By evening, I'm bracing for round 2 of attacks when my phone rings with Mom's number. I almost send it to voicemail, but something, intuition, perhaps makes me answer. Hello? Serenity? Mom's voice sounds different, smaller somehow. I'm calling from the grocery store parking lot. Your father doesn't know. Okay. I wait, suddenly cautious. I saw your post. She pauses. Those numbers. Are they accurate? Yes. I have records of every transfer. The silence stretches between us. I hear her shaky inhale. Maybe we've been unfair. My throat tightens. Maybe. Your father and Isla are arguing. About money. About who deserves what. Another pause. I've never seen them fight like this before. I don't offer solutions or comfort. For once, I just listen. Aunt Marjorie called. And Uncle Pete. They're asking questions about our finances. About why we need so much help. Her voice catches. I don't know what to tell them. The truth would be a start. Mom sighs. I should go. Your father will wonder where I am. Okay. Serenity? Yes? She stops, then continues softer. This isn't how I thought things would turn out. After she hangs up, I sit on my balcony watching the sunset paint Seattle's skyline in shades of amber and gold. For the first time in years, I feel the scales tipping not just in my favor, but toward something resembling balance. My phone chimes with a text from Rachel. Wine at my place tomorrow? We can celebrate your first successful battle in the Great Blake War. I smile and type back. Bring the good stuff. This victory deserves it. Next Monday, my phone lights up with Mom's name for the 3rd time today. I let it ring, watching as the call eventually stops, Then listen to the voicemail she leaves. "Serenity, honey." Her voice quavers. "Your father hasn't been sleeping. His blood pressure is through the roof. Doctor Packard says this stress could trigger a cardiac event." She pauses dramatically. "Please, just talk to us. We're your family." I delete the message and set my phone down on the kitchen counter. 6 similar voicemails have accumulated over the past week, each one escalating the supposed health crisis. Yesterday, Dad supposedly developed chest pains. Today, it's a potential heart attack. The doorbell rings. I check the peephole and spot Aunt Marjorie standing in the hallway, clutching her purse like a weapon. I crack open the door without removing the chain. "You need to come home right now," she announces without greeting. "Your father is destroying himself over this ridiculous feud." "It's not a feud, Aunt Marjorie. It's boundaries." "Is that what you call abandoning your family?" Her voice rises. "When your parents are gone, you'll regret every second of this childish tantrum." I close the door softly, despite the urge to slam it. My hands tremble, but not from guilt, from anger, from certainty. 3 weeks ago, I would have been pulling on my coat, rushing to make everything better. Now, I walk back to my laptop and continue reviewing the documentation my financial advisor helped me compile. The next morning, a notice appears taped to my apartment door, a complaint about excessive noise, reported anonymously to building management. Pure fiction. I've barely made a sound in weeks. At work, my boss, Linda, calls me into her office. "Someone named Douglas Blake called yesterday asking about your employment history." She taps her pencil against the desk. "Said he was doing a reference check." My stomach drops. That's my father. She nods, understanding flooding her expression. "I thought so. Told him all reference checks go through HR. You okay?" I force a nod, but the room feels suddenly small. Dad is targeting my job now. That evening, I spot Mrs. Hensley, my parents' neighbor of 20 years, at the grocery store. When our eyes meet, she quickly turns her cart down another aisle. The message is clear. I've been labeled the villain in this story. By Thursday, the family pressure reaches its peak. Mom calls sobbing about how I've been cut from the will. Dad emails demanding I attend a family reconciliation dinner at their house Friday night. Final chance to make things right, the email concludes. I call Rachel immediately. "They're pulling out all the stops," I tell her, pacing my living room. "Are you going?" She asks. Yes. I stop pacing. But not alone. Friday evening arrives with a clarity I've never experienced before. I park outside my parents' house, the same split level where I learned that love always came with conditions. James Dawson, my financial advisor, sits beside me in his crisp suit, portfolio in hand. "Remember," he says, "this isn't about punishment. It's about options." I nod, my throat tight but my resolve firm. "Let's go." Dad opens the front door before we reach it. His expression shifts from expectant to confused when he spots James. "What's this about?" he demands. "I brought someone to help us communicate clearly," I reply, walking past him into the house. Mom and Isla sit at the dining room table, both looking up with identical expressions of surprise. The table is set for dinner, but there's a notepad and calculator positioned precisely at what would be my place. They expected me to come alone, checkbook in hand. "Everyone," I say, my voice steady despite my racing heart. "This is James Dawson, my financial advisor." James nods professionally. "Good evening." Dad's face flushes deep red. "We don't need outsiders in family business." "Actually," I say, placing my own portfolio on the table, "that's exactly what we need." I open the leather binder, revealing neatly organized pages of financial records. Not the emotional reconciliation they expected. "I love you all," I say, looking at each family member, "but love doesn't pay my bills or secure my future." James steps forward, taking over with calm professionalism. "Miss Blake asked me to analyze her financial situation in relation to her family. What we found was concerning." He places a single sheet on the table, a timeline of every loan I've provided over 5 years, with exact dates and amounts. The total at the bottom reads, $33,480. Mom's hand flies to her mouth. Isla stares at the number, blinking rapidly. This represents approximately 28% of Miss Blake's total income during this period. James continues, and significantly impacts her retirement projections. He slides another document forward, a comparison chart showing Isla's spending patterns versus her claimed emergencies. Designer furniture, weekend trips, exclusive restaurant bills. That's private information. Isla protests, voice rising. It's information directly tied to funds taken from Serenity. James corrects. Dad stands abruptly. This is ridiculous. You can't come in here with some stranger and make accusations. These aren't accusations, I interrupt. They're facts. Numbers don't lie, Dad. James presents the final document. 3 potential paths forward. Complete financial separation, a structured repayment plan, a formal loan agreement for any future assistance. The room falls utterly silent. Dad stares at the papers, mouth working but no sound emerging. Mom's eyes fill with genuine tears, not the performative ones I've seen manipulate situations for decades. I didn't realize it was so much. Isla whispers, tracing the total with her fingertip. We've taken advantage of you, Mom says softly, not meeting my eyes. Dad tries once more. James, was it? I think we can handle this without accountability? I finish. That's why we're here tonight. I stand, gathering the original documents but leaving copies on the table. Take some time, I say. Think about which option works for you. Call me when you're ready to discuss them. I walk toward the door, James following silently. No one tries to stop me. No emotional outbursts follow. Just the weight of irrefutable evidence left on a table where, for once, I wasn't serving everyone else. Outside, the evening air fills my lungs like freedom. My shoulders, perpetually tense for years, finally relax. You did well in there, James says. I nod, looking back at the house where my family sits confronting the truth. For the first time, I think they actually heard me. We walk to our cars, the streetlights illuminating a path forward. I never thought possible one, where love and boundaries coexist, where my worth isn't measured in dollars drained from my account. My phone stays silent that night. No urgent calls, no manipulative texts, just the peaceful sound of a truth finally spoken aloud, and the quiet beginning of whatever comes next. The morning sun warms my balcony as I cradle my coffee mug between both hands. 6 months since I froze my family out of my finances, and my savings account has finally broken the 5-figure mark. The Seattle skyline stretches before me, no longer a vista of buildings I could never afford to live near, but my actual view. My view. I take a slow sip, savoring the rich Colombian blend I splurged on last week without calculating how many hours I'd need to work to justify it. The old mental math dividing purchases by hourly wage has faded like an unwelcome houseguest who finally took the hint. My phone buzzes. Once, that sound would have spiked my blood pressure, anticipating another family crisis. Now, I check the screen with steady hands. Congratulations on closing day. First round's on me tonight. Rachel. I smile and tap a quick reply. The condo keys feel substantial in my pocket, not just metal but the weight of choices made and held firm through storms of guilt and manipulation. The savings account that funded this down payment bears the same name as the one my father and sister drained for years. Serenity's future. Only now it actually is. My phone chimes again. Isla's name appears, and my stomach no longer plummets. Hey big sis, any chance you could spot me $600 until payday? Car payments due and I'm short again. Promise I'll pay back as soon as possible. Love you. I read it twice, noting the familiar tactics, the diminutive big sis, the specific amount just small enough to seem reasonable, the hint of urgency, the promise that will never materialize, the affection tacked on as insurance. 6 months ago, I would have transferred the money before even finishing her message, desperate to feel needed, to earn the brief sunshine of family approval. Today, I type a different response. I can help you create a budget that works with your income if you want. I'm free Tuesday evening. Send. No anxiety, no second guessing. Just clarity. The coffee tastes even better now. My weekly planner sits open on the small teak table I bought myself as a housewarming gift. Sundays, once consumed by family emergencies, now hold a standing date with myself. Jogging along the waterfront, fresh pastry from the corner bakery, an hour with a good book. Simple pleasures that feel revolutionary. You're different. Marcus had said at work last week after I presented the quarterly projections with a confidence my previous self wouldn't recognize. In a good way. Like you finally believe what you're worth. The promotion that followed came partly from that new certainty, that presence that no longer apologized for taking up space. On a Sunday, my phone rings. Mom. Hello? I answer, my voice even. Serenity, honey. Her tone lacks the frantic edge it once carried. Just checking what time you're coming tonight. 7, like we planned. I've got the cake. Perfect. A pause. Douglas is grilling those salmon fillets you like. The mention of my father by his first name, my choice, established in therapy as a tiny rebellion against parental authority, no longer sounds strange to either of us. Sounds nice, I say, meaning it. Mom's voice softens. Isla bought me a lovely scarf, saved up for it special. The pride in her voice mirrors what she once reserved exclusively for my sister's charm or my financial help. But this pride celebrates something healthier. Isla taking small steps toward responsibility. That's good to hear. After we hang up, I open my journal, another Sunday morning ritual. Today's entry is brief. My value isn't measured by what I provide. Love without conditions isn't really love at all. Later, I slide books onto new shelves in my condo when my phone signals a voicemail. Mom again. Just wanted to say. Her voice catches slightly. I'm proud of who you've become, Serenity. Who you always were, beneath what we demanded of you. Evening finds me back on the balcony with chamomile tea, watching city lights blink on like stars. The building I work in, the Space Needle, the water reflecting everything twice. I write one last journal entry before bed. Boundaries aren't walls that keep people out. They're foundations that let me stand secure. I didn't lose my family. I found myself. Tomorrow, a young colleague who reminds me of myself a year ago will ask for advice about her parents' financial expectations. I'll share resources, offer support, pass along the name of my therapist. The quiet advocacy feels like closing a circle. But tonight, this moment belongs just to me. A rare and perfect sufficiency.